$650 this week so far, and I've not opened one new position, and I have maximized the double dip approach. And I'll show you exactly what that is. Before I do that, let's jump into our history. I always like transparency. I want you to see all the credits we've collected since April 14th, the start of the week here. I'm going to talk about them more in depth on my Excel file, but like I said, I show the trade history so you can physically see the credits hitting the account, transparency, and trading. So, like I said, I haven't opened any new positions. I promise I'll open something tomorrow so I can send an alert out. Be honest, when you get to a certain point in contracts, it's easier just to keep rolling positions, especially with these down markets. Rather than open new positions, just keep the ones you have, roll your positions, collect as much credit as you can so that you can grow your account, and then when the market rebounds, you've collected thousands of dollars in credit premiums, and the account will go and make that money whether the market is going up or down. So, without further ado, let's jump over to our Excel file and break down these trades. I did round up in my intro 650. I will make a call tomorrow. So, as you can see, CC covered call, you're green to sell the stock. So those are stocks I've already owned. Rolling the CC, stocks you're green to sell, but you're not ready to sell them yet, so you roll them out a little bit further. And then rolled cash secured put. You already agreed to buy the stock, but I didn't feel like buying it yet, so I rolled it out a little bit farther. So, where did we double dip? So let's first talk about, I sold a covered call on Wolf there, $48. I sold that this week on Monday, as you saw, collected that $48. I rolled that position to next week. I played that same play 2 times in 1 week, and from it, you can see the $48 on that Wolf line. Zoom in here, $48. Selling that covered call. And then down here, we rolled that covered call for Wolf and collected another $20. So that means on one play alone, from just having those 100 shares or a few hundred shares of that stock, it's a $3 stock. So having a few hundred shares of it is pretty cheap. I collected $68 from it. Another one that we double dipped with this week is WiMAX. So if you scroll down to dividends, again, these payers have just been dropping and dropping. It is what it is. We just keep them here for, this point just to laugh at them is how far they're going down. But WiMAX, we are collecting $69 this Friday from the dividend. And if you look up on WiMAX 65cc, that means I'm agreeing to sell my shares of WiMAX for a predetermined price, which is the $13. Because I agreed to sell those shares for $13 a piece, the market is giving me $65. So all in all, I'm collecting over $130 this week for my WiMAX investment because of those double dip approaches. That is the advantage of down markets. You can sell some covered calls, collect a premium, and not really worry about the stock going above your price. If tomorrow, for some reason, we have an up day and WiMAX approaches $13 before market closes, I'm going to roll the position. I won't even take the chance. I don't foresee an up day tomorrow, but it can happen. And even if it does, I don't foresee it getting above 13. But like I said, if it does, I'll roll the position, give myself more time for it to come back down. So those are 2 examples of how I've double dipped this week. Actually, you know what? Let's use Bloomin', one more as a third example. I opened a covered call on Bloomin', BLMN, that CC there for $15. I rolled it a month out because I wanted to get a little bit more time, so I collected an additional $51 on it this week. An additional $51 on top of that $15. So for 100 shares of the stock, I collected $66 this week in total. So all in all, from these double dip moves, from selling out calls, rolling positions, $650 collected so far this week. Let's scroll over to our running total tab here. If we can we do that? Yes. Okay, so we have been keeping track for 13 weeks now, and in that span, we have collected a total of $10,427.91. So, that being said, how does that break down on an average per week? So we take our 10,427, we've been running it for 13 weeks total, so we divide it by 13. That gives us an average of $802 per week. And then if we would take that multiplied by 52 weeks in a year, we would earn $41,711 if we kept this average up for 52 weeks. An extra 41 grand in the year is not bad, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of traders out there that collect a lot more, but like I said, my minimum is $550 a week. Once I hit it, I don't overtrade. I'm going to open a position tomorrow just so I can send some messages out to my Fiverr group. Because, like I said at the beginning of this video, you start to get to the point where it's just easier to roll the positions. Don't waste your breath opening new ones. Just keep rolling what you have. Collect as much credit as you can. Last tab I want to show you in this video is the dividends. This is our payouts this week. We saw it on the total tab for the week, but here's a little bit of a breakdown. ULTY. Man, since it's went to a weekly payer, it has dropped every dividend over the last 4 weekly payers. It's now down to 852. It was at 10. Now it's 9. And it just keeps dropping. And I wonder at what point it'll go to. YMAX has actually been consistent. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, YMAX actually has been pretty consistent between that 13 and 17 range. So I can't hate on YMAX too much out of all of them. And then RDTE, I just don't have enough shares. I don't want to put any more money into these, and like I said, I do them solely to kind of show the difference between selling options and collecting dividends. So, with that being said, let's go back one more time to our sheet 1 just to see that total, $645 collected this week. I'm probably going to make a cheap trade tomorrow. I'm not going to use a lot of capital. Just trying to generate some income and call out a play. So all in all, if I can get $5, $10, $15 tomorrow to put us over that $650 mark for the week, I will be content. And like I said, if YMAX gets close to that $13, I'll roll the position because I don't want to sell those shares for $13. At least not yet. I want to double dip for a couple more weeks. Basically double my dividend payout. So if I get 60 and I get another 60 for covered calls, if I could do that every week, I should have been doing that early on, but I don't know. The market was running up for so long. It's hard to sell covered calls in an up market because it just keeps going up. And now if we're going to have a down market or a flat market, those are amazing times for covered calls. Love them. So all in all, I hope you appreciate and like these kind of videos. If you would, help me out and leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Also, if you would, put in the comments for me what your cash cow stock is. I learn a lot from people that leave comments in terms of what their call-outs are, what type of plays they're making, because you're coming up with stocks I would never even think of, because there's thousands and thousands of stocks that are traded with option chains. So obviously I'm not going to be able to find them all, and I might have some that you've never tried before. I stay pretty consistent with my group. If you've watched all my videos that I've posted out there or followed all the 13 weeks in my running total here, all 13 weeks that we've been tracking, if you have been with me since then, you see a lot of the same stocks. And that's because it's easier to roll positions than open new ones. So all in all, I appreciate you, and I do love the positivity that, so many people have been saying such nice things in the comments, and that really means a lot to me. Like I said, the whole goal of this channel is to help people understand that investing does not have to be challenging. It does not have to be looking at charts, and it does not have to be something where you put yourself in a situation you don't understand. we can all grow together. There's plenty of money out there. You just have to go in with the right mindset. And that mindset is always, let's try to be better today than yesterday. We're not trying to get rich in one day. We're trying to meet our goals. And I think if we can do that and continue to grow, we're going to have a lot of success. So I will see you in the next one.